So, Alien Earth. It rocks. But is it any good? Let's dig in here a little bit and find out. Metal Hammer just dropped a article and gives you a little something to think about. So let's dig in and see what it's all about. So the new Alien Earth came right out the gate swinging. It had some pretty powerful episodes. Starting it off, came right out the gate, pretty good. Adding to the lore, and really did feel like it, had that movie kind of quality where you're kind of in between movie feeling, but also a little bit of the TV. But it being FX and Hulu, it presents more as a movie, but its timing is already. We got into the third episode, and there's like basically 20 minutes of an episode, and the rest of it is filler. It's a lot of slow motion stuff, people looking at things, and just not really. Yeah, they could have moved the story a lot further along. It seems like they have like a movie's worth of stuff, and they're trying to stretch it out. It's starting to already kind of get that feeling, but we're only 3 episodes in, so hopefully, I'm trying to be optimistic. This is a franchise that I've followed and loved ever since I was a wee little tot. I have everything Alien behind me. I have the VHS collection, the DVD collection, Blu-ray, the whole kit and caboodle. I even have Alien Romulus on VHS because I'm silly. So this is, there's some pretty cool stuff that we've already seen, and seeing also one thing that I appreciated was the way that they're working with the synthetics. And I think it's a way of progressing how they came about, because in the regular alien lore, they're a matter of fact, and we'd never know. We hear like, oh, the A2s were a bit twitchy, but we've refined the models since then. Well, since you're murderous robot, you mean? Well, so it is neat to see that lore, along with, it seems like they're working in some of the Dark Horse stuff, some stuff from the books. There's like little hints or winks and nods, like how she's hearing things. I don't want to give a whole lot away, but I want to dig into this article for just a minute, and you let me know what you think. Now, the article starts right out with basically telling us we need to talk about these kick-ass metal drops. Now, like I said, via Metal Hammer, so we talk about those heavy metal needle drops in Alien Earth. Alien Earth is receiving critical acclaim across the board. You wouldn't know that if you were looking at YouTube, but whatever. And it's packing some surprising metal bangers. And I was surprised, especially hearing Tool. It was one thing I was equally surprised. We'll start here. Alien Earth causing a major stir in horror and sci-fi circles right now. Depending on what you want to call that stir. And with good reason. The Alien prequel series, which launched last week on Hulu in the US via Disney Plus, in the UK and Ireland, has received widespread critical acclaim for producing a story and accompanying characters that feel true to the franchise origins while offering some fresh ideas and surprising twists. I know that I think, once you're an adult, it's hard to put yourself back into a kid's way of thinking or acting. So it's very easy to maybe criticize this character right here, but you have to think that, we met these little kids briefly, and now these little kids are in adult bodies, and they're still little kids though. So, which is why would you send them into, which also shows that they look at them as a product. Now, what metal songs are playing at the end of episodes? And they've been ending every episode so far with just a killer like, whoa, it's like almost setting the stage for the next one via music, which I think is very cool. Now, the end of the episode of Neverland sees one of a group of characters about to attempt a rescue mission of sorts, with a beautiful time drop of the Dio era Black Sabbath classic, Mob Rules, sending the EP into its end credits. It's a starting change of pace for the Alien franchise, which has always had its own like symphonic music. There's never been even the hint of metal soundtrack or mainstream music. Everything that you've ever heard from Alien was written for Alien. And even the stuff that was written for Alien has been used in other previews because it's that good. So anyway, it's a startling change for the pace. Now, at the end of episode 2, Mr. October is soundtracked by the Hallmark Tool anthem Stinkfist, while episode 3 ends Metamorphosis is played off by a blast of Metallica's Black Album, Wherever I May Roam. And it comes dun 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 dun. And she's laying there like looking up into. It is a cool shot, but some of these shots are, I know that this is a different format, but we can't have too many episodes feel like the episode is revolved around time and not the story. And that's what we're getting in episode 3 already. There was some good stuff. It moved the story along, but there was also like a good 10-15 minutes of just filler, slow motion shots that you could have done in 5 seconds and got the same point. It's not that dramatic to wheel the specimen cases in that you barely can see what they are, or you've already seen 9 times. So ushering them in slow motion does not have the dramatic effect of, say, like Braveheart hitting somebody in the head with a mace. So I didn't go into the filming planning to do that, but as I got into the editorial process, each episode kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which is a great way to use this music too. And the director tells Decider, what I'm looking for is to make an arena show, right? So it's something that feels bigger than a small theater. It's an arena show. Now what he's mean, it's like, I think it's like a hybrid. It's in between a show and a movie kind of thing. And so, he started to put those songs at the end of class. Now, sometimes in music, George Lucas he writes to music, or they'll put in filler music to kind of give the idea of, I'm not saying I want this, but I want something that has this effect. And sometimes that could just be simply signed music. And it could be like, look, we probably can't get the license for this, but I want something that hits like this. And that's pretty cool. Now, we've already noticed some big changes that they're purposely doing And I think it's kind of good because we are in a TV format where there's not a whole lot of fades, crossfades in the Alien franchises. There are some, but they're used differently. Say, like in 3, where they kind of hold the crossfades and they mix kind of, so you see two, people that are in different places in the room at the same time. There, but very few crossfades, especially in comparison to what they're doing in the show. But personally, I think it works, and it separates it that no, this isn't an alien movie. This is an alien show. So, but I do take issue a little bit with the alien. I think he needs to be slimed up a little bit. I think he looks a little bit too like got him off Wish type cheap plastic on his dome. I think that could be, yeah, you got the dripping saliva pot, right? Yeah, they figured that out over 50 years ago now. Slime the head up. Come on, they've been doing it in every other one. I don't understand why all of a sudden we have a dry alien. Does he need to be moisturized? Is he gonna start getting cracked skin and dry eyes? But no, you don't see a lot of Tool in soundtracks at all. You don't. I think it was awesome to hear Passive from A Perfect Circle and Constantine. And it's perfect in that movie too. He adds mentioning that he's a big fan of Stinkfist before teasing another big heavy band that'll be getting a needle drop in the show soon. There's a Queens of a Stone Age track and a later on, and that's really great. I'm just trying to create a big feeling in the audience as episodes end and you realize that you have to wait another week to see it. I don't think we need the music to understand that. We understand TV schedules, just so you know. And in case you don't know, they tell us when the next one's coming out. So I don't think it's having the impact you're trying to say it is. But yeah, so Holly says, but it's a celebration of what you've watched before and throwing you into the future. So there you have it. With 5 more episodes of Alien Earth to go, we're already excited. Now, I hopefully that's just in total or season. What? I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be a seasonal thing, but they probably could wrap this whole story up with 5 more episodes if they move it along and stop dragging the film out. Now, one more thing I will say about the music is he could say all he wants about the dramatic effects of the music and the music that's in the actual show has more of a dramatic effect than the song at the end of the show when it's the end of the show and the credits are starting to roll. However cool it might be, it shows off who you are directly pointing this at. You know who your audience is, and you're telling your audience that you know who they are. And you know the age bracket that you are. So that's basically kind of the giveaway. And oh yeah, real quick, this was by Merlin Alderslade, executive editor, louder, whatever. Yeah. And there's criticizing with the haircut and stuff like that. Little nitpicks, and people on the internet there's gonna be a lot of people that don't like it. I've already been unimpressed with a few things, but I'm also a diehard Alien fan, so I'm gonna give it probably a bit more of a chance than I did the abomination that Amazon called Lord of the Rings. Um, so um, I don't know how they're gonna pull that out, but this we haven't gotten into territory to where it's like, oh my, so far they've been telling a good, compelling story that's adding to the lore and possibly pulling some stuff from the lore that has never been introduced in the movies before. So, and this could be the vessel to properly do that, because it's a lot harder when you learn about, the Dark Queen and all these things and the mental link that the drones and the Queen and all this stuff, and it just, there's a lot to the lore that it's a lot harder to get into a movie than, say, in a, no pun intended, a vessel like this. So yeah, hopefully they chill out on the slow-mo. We don't need to drag the don't purposely drag it along. That's what it felt like. It felt like there was 10 minutes of you purposely dragging it along. And, we could have been further into the story. But from what it looks like, the next episode's going to be, there's going to be a lot going on. So, sometimes you need them, what might seem mundane right now episodes, to be the setup for the next big episode. So we'll see. Time will tell. I'll be watching. But I figured I want to talk about the music, and, that's a bit more behind this music than he's acting like. It's not just because, I like to. No, it's also because of rights holders, licensing, and who your audience is. I mean, this is just, it's not. Gen X is your target audience, and that's the music that Gen X is listening to primarily. I don't think throwing in a few country ditties will work, even if it's Hank Williams or Waylon Jennings or even Johnny Cash. I'll take that back. Maybe Johnny Cash. But, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more, but the music isn't something I'm looking forward to. It's just an added, cool. And it does, they do use it right so far in the way they drop it. So, yeah. But let me know what you think. I mean, I really don't think it's necessary. I almost think in some ways it almost feels like it's cheapening it a little bit, because it's, I think this is a franchise that, even though you have the ability to make it into a TV show, doesn't mean that it has to always present as a TV show. I mean, look at Netflix and how they present stuff. Obviously, this isn't Netflix, and they're not presenting whole seasons at a time or half a seasons. So, yeah, we have a different format that we're working with. I think it might take us a little bit to get used to it. If at all, but, yeah, I'm still optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, but I do look forward to seeing where the story goes and, what comes up next. 'Cause already they're doing things with things that we've already seen a million times that, whoa, didn't know that was a thing. And I've known about these things for my whole life. And I did not know that thing was inside a face hugger. I didn't know. And now I do. And now it's even more unsettling. It's great. I love it. So, yeah. Looking forward to the next episode. Let me know what you think. I know there's going to be some naysayers out there. There's going to be some haters. But, hey, that's what the movies are there for. You can go back there and watch them and go cry into your popcorn there. Okay. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. We got tons more news, reviews, reacts, all sorts of stuff in the music world and beyond. But I wanted to talk about this a little bit and share my thoughts on the whole music angle of it and what to expect. But yeah, keeping them at the end is cool. I just hope they don't start throwing songs like that in the show, in the middle of the show. I think that will start to take away or cheapen it even more, personally. But time will tell. Let me know what you think. Have a great day out there, everybody. And like, comment, subscribe to all the YouTube things. If you'd like to learn about new music, we got a ton of music that you've never heard. Go check out our playlist section. I guarantee you're going to find a bunch of stuff. It's going to be life-changing. I guarantee. Change your life type stuff. So, get on it. Some of you need to change some shit. So, yeah, clean up your act. Go listen to some good music. I'll catch you on the other side. Have a good day, everybody.